So one of the interesting things in Wesley's later life is his return to Epworth and his effort to preach at, I believe, his father's church.
Yeah, John Wesley always loved Epworth. He looked upon Epworth as his home, and as you know, he travelled far and wide, but always looked for opportunities of coming back to Epworth, and corresponded regularly with the girls while the family was still living here. He had that close connection. And even after his father died and the new rector was in place, he came back to Epworth on one occasion and asked if he would be allowed to preach and lead prayers in St Andrew's Church, which is the church where his father had been rector. The then rector refused him permission because John by then was a bit of an outcast from the Church of England. So what John did was to get on top of his father's tomb, which is still there at St Andrew's, and he preached to the people gathered there on his father's tomb, and actually did that on a couple of other occasions when he came back to Epworth. So it always had that draw for John. And it was a joy for me 2 or 3 years ago when the then president of the Methodist Conference in Britain, Stephen Poxon, came to visit. He got on top of Samuel Wesley's tomb and spoke to the people who were gathered, and the current vicar at the church came out of the church and specifically invited him into the church to continue his address. He wanted to make that symbolic gesture that things have changed now since those days when John Wesley was an outcast. He wanted to say Methodists are welcome in the Church of England. But yes, Epworth was always loved by John Wesley, and that I think is an indication of what his parents did here. It wasn't just the place, it was that memory of what his parents did. That was so significant for him.
And there are memories of Wesley around the town, aren't there?
There are, yes. Yes, not only can visitors come here, but they can go on what we call a walk of Wesley to places of significance. The Wesley Memorial Church is here, which has stained glass window with the heads of John and Charles Wesley, and other significant sites. There's the Market Cross, where John also preached, as well as on his father's tomb. And as you drive into Epworth, it's significant that it says, "Welcome to Epworth, home of the Wesleys." And I think it still is the home of the Wesleys, and would love more people to come and just experience what being at the home of the Wesleys means today.
It has been such an honor and joy to talk to you, and we really appreciate your taking the time and making all the effort to spend time with us. Thank you so much.
It's been a joy. It's always a joy to talk about Epworth.